We wonder why they don't have enough money to build their infrastructures and build their schools and build their telephone systems and build their manufacturing plants and build their highways and other kinds of things there. And we want to attribute it to their Africanness and not to the games that white boys play. But let's not get too superior, African Americans. Because we are a third world country too. And the crime in our streets is the result of the same kinds of things that's being played. And creating crime in the streets of Africa, crime in the streets of Jamaica, crime in the streets of Trinidad, crimes in the streets of wherever black people are living nowadays. The same thing is being run everywhere, and it's being run on us. And it's a damn pity and a shame it's being run on us, because we should know a hell of a lot better. We have too much knowledge available to us. We have too many damn libraries open. We have too much information floating around here every day. Newspapers and magazines and books and radios and TVs and everything just pumping out so much information and knowledge you can't take it all in. You have to will yourself to be dumb in America. Yes. Nobody's hiding knowledge from you. You just don't want to go to that library. You just don't want to crack those books. How many kids do I see going to school without even a notebook in their hand? What kind of people are these? And in a sense, we are even more chipped than our African brothers and sisters, because we have it available. It's here for us. We got the computers, we got the knowledge at our fingertips. So it's even more a shame that we are dumb. In other nations that cannot afford the books, and cannot afford the schools, and cannot afford the libraries and the computers and so forth, that may be a reason, and often they're much smarter than we are for some reason. What's going on here? We as African Americans are also a monoculture. And what is our sole commodity? Labor. Labor, that's the only thing we sell of a great value in America. Labor. Servants. We came here to be servants, we came here to labor, and we're still laboring. You're talking about you escaped from slavery. We're still doing the same thing we did when we first came over here. Laboring for white folk. You think because you're wearing some little sweater, you got some hat turned backwards, all that, you represent some advance over what other people used to be. You're crazy. The same position. Exactly the same position. Nothing has changed. You're still the servant of white folks. You're still dependent on white folks. You're still, every nickel you get, you run down there and take it to white folk, because that's your role, is to take money to white folk and make money for white folk.
There you go.
And what's so pitiful, you're willing to kill other black people to do it. You're willing to poison them and destroy families and destroy neighborhoods and terrorize black folk so you can take the money to the white. This is what's about. Now, what does that mean to the African people in America? That means that we are a monoculture, and the only thing we have to sell is labor. And we are now selling our labor in a buyer's market. And the white man is setting the price for which he'll pay for it. And the price is being set what? Lower and lower. Wages are not stagnating. They're actually declining. We can't even get this old joker to raise the minimum wage, which is one of the reasons why all people, almost at all ranks, even college-educated people, salaries are sinking down. Not only the high school, but the ones are sinking down. This is the most backwards, thievish country you'll ever believe. While it's top and getting richer and richer and richer, it won't even vote a $5.25 minimum wage for its workers. And it has convinced a lot of jokers that there's something right about this. So now, what is the African community in then? We're in a situation where even our labor is being cheaply bought, but the people who are selling us the product are still raising the prices.
Yeah.
And therefore we are an indebted nation as a people right here in America. And therefore we don't have any money left to build the schools we need to build for our children, because we are too busy trying to pay for high-priced imports into the black community. We cannot build the kind of homes for them because we have a major national debt as African people. How many of us in here owes so much money to white folks? If you look at yourself as a nation, and I advise you to analyze our problem in terms of a nation, look at your problem in terms of a nation, not in terms of an individual or family, but in terms of a nation, and look at our relationship to other groups as a relationship between nations. The Korean nation, the Chinese nation, the Latin nation, the white nation, you see, and watch how you can begin to see what goes on here. Everything we owe, we pretty much owe to outside nations. Everything we buy from what? Outside nations. And even though we have intrinsic wealth, we cannot enjoy that intrinsic wealth because that wealth is being exported outward to pay our national debt. And therefore we have nothing left to build the kinds of schools we need to build for our children, to build the recreational centers, to redesign our neighborhoods, to support our families, to create jobs for our fathers and our mothers, to create jobs for our youth, because we are giving it all away or pushing it on other people. And now whites need less of our labor and they're paying less for it. So not only are they paying less for it, they are now demanding less of it. And if that trend continues, we'll all be unemployed and poverty-stricken. And when we become unemployed and poverty-stricken, the more we're going to see more criminality, more violence, more family disruption, more problems of social disorganization. And any teaching of so-called family values is not going to change it. Because you see, it's not enough just to teach a value. You've got to reward people for exercising a value. If people are not rewarded for being good, if people are not rewarded for being nice, then they see no reason to continue to be good or to be nice. So it's not enough for you just to teach your children to be good and to be nice and then not change their material circumstances. They're going to reject those values. But some people are telling you all you need to do is teach them to be nice and teach them to be good and yet not change their economic circumstances and yet not control that it's not going to happen. They're going to kill you before they do it. And that is what's going on. What does that mean then? That means we are engaged with the Korean nation, a nation that we, because of our economic ideology that I talked about earlier, because we believe in free and open markets, we just let them walk right in and take every nickel and dime out of the black community. We don't ask them to contribute a damn dime to the churches, not a damn dime to black education, not a nickel or a dime to anything in the community. We just let them come in and take every penny and walk right out. We don't tax them in any sort of way. What kind of nation lets another nation of people enter into its territory and earn wealth and not tax that people in some sort of way and not makes that people employ its people in some sort of way? What kind of people must we be to let someone just walk in and take every nickel and dime out of our pockets?
Sure. That's it.
Yes. And then wonder why our children are the way they are. And then we want to blame them for behaving the way they behave. It's us, the adults, who are creating this kind of world that they live in. Yes. And why are you loving these Koreans? And why are you loving the Dominicans? And why are you loving the Puerto Ricans? Yeah, I'm saying that because we got some people here who talk about people of color. Yeah, they love to use that term, people of color. As if all non-white people have the same goals as they be out there. You got another thought coming. There are some people who are as black as you are still don't identify with you in any sort of way. They don't identify themselves in terms of ethnicity or in terms of African descent. They identify themselves in terms of a language.
That's right. That's right.
They don't see any connection to you.